Alright, so the time has come to talk about Thor in Thor Ragnarok. No, not in Thor Ragnarok, in Avengers Endgame. I'm getting to Thor Ragnarok in a minute. So a lot of people had a problem with Thor becoming Fat Thor and drinking and all that. And I'm here to do a video defending that decision, okay? No, I don't think Thor becoming what he became in Avengers Endgame, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I should have said that at the beginning of the video, but the movie's been out for a while now, so I'm hoping that people are okay with it. But anyways, in the movie, 5 years go by after he kills Thanos, and he goes through a depression. He goes through a lot of guilt. He has no wars to fight, and so as a result of that, he lets himself go. And they kind of tease it earlier in the film when he's in that scene with Captain Marvel where he's eating the bread. I suppose that might be like a little preview of Thor getting fat, like, oh, he's eating a bunch of empty carbs or whatever. I don't know. Some people have said that. But he ends up being this big, chubby guy who drinks a lot of beer, and he's always playing video games. He becomes a slob, and a lot of folks had a problem with this, and I didn't. I'll tell you why. Because number one, we've already seen Thor in many different incarnations. In the first Thor movie, he was kind of fish out of water. Second Thor movie, he tried to be a hero. Third Thor movie was when Thor Ragnarok is when he became all comedy. And then in the other movies like Infinity War, in Infinity War, he really was a determined guy. He wanted to get vengeance for the Asgardians, for Loki, for everybody who got killed by Thanos, and he almost did. He almost got the vengeance, and because he did not do it, because he failed, he had that guilt kind of consume him for so many years. Now, the reason why it works is because, number one, it makes sense. There's people who go through depression who both gain weight and lose weight. Me, when I go through depression, I actually lose a lot of weight. I end up getting all sickly because you don't eat as much, and it happens. And some people gain weight. Some people go through this process where they eat a lot of food to compensate for their loneliness or their depression, their anxiety, or whatever the case may be, what have you. And you have to understand that even though Thor is a god in the Marvel Universe and Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're not gods in the Western Abrahamic religion type of a sense, if you could even call it that. He's not omnipotent, he's not immortal. He's basically a human being with enhanced abilities given to him by birthright, not by mutation or by invention or gamma rays. It's just he's a god in that sense, but he's not immortal. He can die. All of them can die, in fact. So because of that, we can relate to the character more, because if he's immortal, he's kind of like a Mary Sue or Gary Stu, and nobody likes that, right? So the fact that he can die means that he has a body that, even though it's in tremendous physical condition, because Chris Hemsworth is a really hard worker when it comes to that, it's still a human body. And Chris Hemsworth in real life could end up being fat one day. And the movie illustrates how it could happen to anyone. Remember, it's been 5 years, not so much like 6 months. It takes time to get that gut. So it makes sense to me. But the other thing that people have to remember about this is that this is not the end of Thor. In Avengers Endgame, we saw kind of the capstone of a lot of arcs for a lot of characters. We saw the end of the Black Widow saga when she sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone and for Hawkeye's family and for him to live on, and others. We saw Tony Stark's passing with his sacrifice, and then we saw Captain America going back in time to live out his days with Peggy in peace. When it comes to the Incredible Hulk, I don't believe his arc is over. The Russo said that his arc kind of began in Ragnarok with him, with the whole thing with him not being able to control the Hulk, and now he's in full control. So that part of his story is done, but I feel like there's more to be done with him, because he's still, as of the end of the film, he's still Professor Hulk, and there has to be more to do with that character. He's not done by any means. He's still an Avenger. And then we have the other characters like Hawkeye could pretty much retire if he wanted to, even though he's not dead. When Thor, though, the movie ends with him going to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he makes that joke about the Asgardians of the Galaxy. And then there was a report that came out a few days ago that talked about how Thor, or Chris Hemsworth, has signed on for 2 more films in the MCU. Not 1, 2. Now, there's been Thor 4 that's been rumored for a long time, which I did a video on. And, of course, there's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And it's pretty easy to figure out that Thor will be part of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So that's going to be one of the 2 movies that he'll come back in. And, of course, there's one more. It could be a future Avengers film. It could be another Thor film. It could be, who knows. Also, Chris Hemsworth can always come back and sign for more. It's like they just discovered that this guy was really talented comedy-wise. Even though he's always been pretty funny, he does have great comedic timing. He's really, really funny. And because of that, yeah, I think that Thor can easily work and stay in the MCU for many, many more years and kind of use that. Now, do I think he's going to go back to being shredded again? Yes, at some point he will. Do I think it'll happen in Guardians 3? No, I don't think it's going to happen in that movie. I think Guardians 3, Thor being overweight and kind of this sloth guy, to me, adds more comedy. And also, don't forget the fact that when he fought Thanos, he was still really powerful. He channeled the energy of thunder. He was still able to use his weapons effectively. Thanos beat him up, but he was still really, really powerful. I mean, it's easy to say that he's probably still the strongest Avenger. It's a toss-up with him and Captain Marvel, even though some are going to say Captain Marvel is more powerful. Others who don't like Brie Larson are going to say otherwise. You know, I don't know why people care about Brie Larson when it comes to in-universe stuff, but whatever, who cares? She said some dumb stuff, but, you know, she's not Captain Marvel. She just plays the character. Thor, you know, is right up there. If he's not the strongest Avenger, he's the second strongest, maybe possibly third if Hulk kind of gets himself back to where he used to be if he's a savage. Maybe not, because Thor was also very powerful, and he was definitely at his peak power in Ragnarok when he was able to challenge that, or not challenge, channel that thunder power. So, moving forward, I don't think that I think Thor's going to be played up for laughs a lot in Guardians 3. I think, and I'm hoping we see Thor versus Adam Warlock, because I just feel like that's going to be an easy opportunity to make a very epic fight that he can be a part of that will challenge him, Adam Warlock and Thor. I'm hoping that we see Thor versus Adam Warlock in that movie, and then in the subsequent Thor film, whether it be Thor 4, whatever they decide to do, I hope that in that film, and I think it's going to happen, it's not that I hope, I think it's going to happen, that Thor will get back in shape, and we'll see shredded up, you know, Thor Ragnarok Thor back at some point. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you with this video is, if you're upset about this arc, understand the arc's not over yet. Black Widow, Iron Man, the other Avengers had their arcs. The Thor story is continuing, and now that he's going on to be one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, or to be on Quill's ship at least, you know, we know that for certain it's going to continue, and we know for certain that it's, you know, that there's a chance and a high probability that he'll be back to being his old self at some point to kind of wrap up that arc, you know, of Thor. If it were up to me, I mean, I would make movies like, I would love to see movies like Thor Ragnarok, every Thor movie, because I love Thor Ragnarok. It's probably my third favorite MCU movie right now. It's right up there. I watched it again recently and I love it. And I think we'll see it again. I think you have to remember this is not over yet, and let's wait and see where things go. So, thanks again for watching. And remember, just because somebody's chubby and overweight and an alcoholic does not mean they can't have heroic powers and call him the power of thunder. And he's still really strong despite who he is. But it's something different for the character, and I love that. It's something unique and different for Thor. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.